And thank you for joining us. I'm Gary Libator. Also had the latest information from Utica Police after a night of violence in the city. 2 shootings, 1 deadly, and this morning police say they are close to figuring out who killed a 20-year-old man. But first, let's check in with meteorologist Hannah Evans. She's got the latest for us on this slow-moving weather system in the Weather Center. Good morning.
Good morning, Gary. Yes, we did see a couple inches last night. So far, around 2 to 3 inches is expected for a lot of us, but it is pretty slushy outside because that snow is kind of wet and heavy. It's not like lake effect, so just be careful when driving today.
For sure.
So let's take a look now at the total snowfall forecast. This goes into effect, well, this went into effect last night, and this is until Saturday morning. We are still expecting more snow today. So total 8 to 12 inches for most of the Mohawk Valley, specifically the eastern portion of our viewing area, and then, or the western portion of our viewing area, and then the eastern portion of our viewing area, seeing a little bit more, especially areas of higher elevations and hilltops. So looking at our Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 Doppler radar, at this point we are still seeing steady snowfall. We did see a brief amount of time where it mixed a little bit in the Utica Rome area. We can see that right here, that green and that pink color. When we were driving in this morning, we did see some mixing and some sleet rather than snow, but snow is pretty consistent for this morning, and we will continue to see additional snowfall today. Around 4 to 8 inches of snow can be expected for today and tonight. So snow continues today and tonight. Power outages are definitely still possible because it is pretty windy outside, and that snow is heavy and dense. If it falls on power lines or tree branches and they fall down, power outages can occur at that time. We are going to see more snow tonight, and then we clear out early tomorrow morning. So for the rest of today, expect snowfall. Just be very careful when driving. Roads are a bit slick and it is a bit slushy outside. Cars can easily slip in that, so just be careful of that. I will be talking a little bit more about additional snowfall totals coming up, Gary.
Hannah, thanks. Officials from New York State Electric and Gas, or NYSEG, says that crews are continuing to work around the clock to restore any remaining power outages up in the North Country. Most customers who are without power were expected to have it back late last night. The remaining customers will be restored on Saturday.
When we see a storm like this one coming in, we jump into storm mode. So that entails everything from holding our crews and our contractors in place to getting additional resources staged around the state so that when we find out where the impact is happening, we can move those additional resources.
And most of NYSEG's outages are in Clinton, Essex, Franklin, Hamilton, and St. Lawrence counties. And this snow event has the attention of the Weather Channel. That's right. In fact, they were here earlier, actually last night, interviewing our own chief meteorologist, Bill Curtis, regarding the storm. That is meteorologist Paul Goodlow right there. He's been with the Weather Channel for nearly 24 years. He's been in all of the elements, and as a native New Yorker himself, he knows what we deal with here in our area.
Being in the elements to show our viewers at home what's going on and why they should stay out of it. This is why it's dangerous. This is why you should stay at home. We try to take every single precaution available. It might not look like it on TV, but we always have a safe spot to be no matter what Mother Nature can throw our way.
Paul will actually be filing reports for the Weather Channel from right here in our area later today. And a reminder, you can always head to WKTV.com for closings and delays. Well, violent night, busy night.
Welcome back. The snow that we are seeing today is going to be very dense and heavy because our temperatures are right around and just above freezing, and it is coming from a low pressure system. It's not lake effect. Lake effect snow typically produces more snow because it is bringing cool air in, and it's drier snow. Typical snow, though, usually with 1 inch of water produces about 10 inches, but this snow we are seeing today with 1 inch of water will produce around 5 inches of snow. It's going to be very wet and dense. It makes it hard to shovel, and it's hard to travel with it with your cars. Just be careful of that throughout today because we are going to continue to see snow today. And because of the nature of the snow, scattered power outages are still possible when they fall on power lines or on branches. That can cause scattered power outages. It also is going to be pretty windy today, so that could also contribute to that as well. So just be careful for any downed power lines, especially when you are driving this morning or even later today on the roadways, and definitely don't touch them or anything. Just report them to the company. Gary.
Hannah, thanks. We are bringing you a
From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's meteorologist Hannah Evans.
Good morning, everybody. Today is a Storm Tracker 2 alert day due to wet and heavy snow continuing throughout the rest of the day, and it looks to end tomorrow. So on our Cavity Tower camera right now, we can see it is pretty dark outside. We are seeing some snowfall. Even some mixing is happening at this point, so definitely be careful on the roads this morning. They are going to be a little bit slippery, a little bit of some slush, and the snow will continue for today. I did just want to update on some snowfall totals as of this morning. This all came in around 4 or 5 a.m. We have the most amount of snow south, Emerson 4.5 inches. We have Old Forge at 3 inches, New Hartford at 2 inches, Clinton just under 2, and Whitesboro at 1.7 inches, and that is of this morning. We will continue to see snowfall for the rest of today and even tonight. Here is our Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 Doppler radar. We are seeing snowfall north of the Mohawk Valley at this point and south of the Mohawk Valley, and even some in the Mohawk Valley, but I did want to point out there is some mixing in the Utica Rome area, seeing some rain and even some mixed precipitation. That can cause for slippery conditions when driving this morning, so just be careful of that. This is all due to this low pressure system that is moving up the coast, that is bringing in rain further down south, and we are all getting snow and some mixing because of it. It doesn't look to move out until early tomorrow morning, so we will continue to see snow until tomorrow morning. We have this winter storm warning in effect until 7 a.m. tomorrow morning. This is due to that wet, heavy snow along with gusty winds that could cause visibility issues, very slippery road conditions, and power outages are a main thing as well. This wet and heavy snow could fall on branches and power lines, and that could cause for some power outages. So this snowfall map is in effect today and tonight. We are expecting an additional 4 to 8 inches from this morning until tomorrow morning, and that brings our total up pretty high. So for the rest of today, the snow will remain widespread. We look to get a few breaks though, and it looks to be light at times. It's not going to be super heavy throughout the entire day, and it looks to continue tonight until coming to an end early tomorrow morning. So in total, still expecting some areas receiving 10 to 14 inches. That specifically are eastern portion and in areas of higher elevation and hilltops, and most of us are expecting around 8 inches to a foot of snow from this whole event. Now on Saturday, once it clears out, lake effect will pick up for north of us, so it doesn't look to reach us until we move into Sunday. Sunday night, this lake effect looks to shift south, and then we will start to see some lake effect later in the day on Sunday. So for the rest of today, expect snow to continue. It's going to be wet and heavy in nature. It's also going to be windy, and the snow looks to continue tonight before really clearing up early tomorrow morning. We still have our alert day in effect for today due to slippery road conditions when commuting this morning. Also, power outages can be a thing, so just keep that in mind. The snow will end early tomorrow morning. We will be dry tomorrow with lake effect picking up later in the day on Sunday, Gary.
So be careful today and early tomorrow morning as well.
Yes, definitely just be careful when driving around because it can be slippery, that's slushy, you can slip on that and stuff like that.
That's for sure.
Yes.
Anna, thanks. The time now, 5:23. Coming up, TikTok and the threat of the Chinese. For this half hour, I'm Gary Libator. A lot to get to in this edition of News Channel 2 at Sunrise. First, let's get a check of that all-important Friday forecast, and it is a snowy one. Meteorologist Hannah Evans joining us now to let us know just how much snow we could be seeing the rest of the day.
Yes, so far we're ranging between around 2 to 4.5 inches. The heavier snow did fall south of the Mohawk Valley, so we're just waking up with a couple inches this morning. It still is slippery, and the snow looks to continue for today, even tonight. So we will be seeing more.
A lot more today than last night, yeah.
Yes, so let's take a look now at our snowfall map. This is going to be for today and tonight. We are looking at an additional 4 to 8 inches of snow for all of us after waking up this morning. The snow is going to be wet and it's going to be heavy, like dense, so it is going to be a little bit harder to shovel and a little bit harder to drive through, a little bit slippery on the roadways, so definitely just be careful of that throughout today and especially this morning. Taking a look now on our Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 Doppler radar, we are still seeing consistent snowfall. There are a few breaks, as we can see here down in Otsego County, and zooming in, there also is some mixing in the Utica Rome area. We see a little bit of rain and a little bit of mixed precipitation as well. So that's occurring a little bit in the Mohawk Valley, with the rest of us seeing snow, especially up north and our southern portion of our viewing area. The snow looks to continue for all of today. It also will continue tonight. Since the nature of the snow is going to be wet and dense, power outages are still possible, as it does stick to tree branches and power lines. That could also be an issue still today. We are going to start to clear out tomorrow morning. Lake effect picks up for the north tomorrow and Sunday, and it looks to shift south later in the day on Sunday into the Mohawk Valley. So for the rest of today, expect snowfall to continue. We will be seeing temperatures just above freezing. That's why the snow is a little bit wetter than that lake effect snow. I will be talking a little bit more about our snowfall forecast and some totals coming up, Gary.
Hannah, thanks. And don't forget the Storm Tracker 2 forecast, never more than 10 minutes away. Well, cases of COVID and
Welcome back. Let's take another look now at our Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 Doppler radar. Most of us are seeing snow. There are some breaks now down in Otsego County, and in some areas of the Utica-Rome area, we are seeing some mixing in there with freezing rain and sleet. But all of this can cause slippery conditions when traveling throughout the day today, so definitely just be careful. The worst of it is going to be this morning and today in terms of traveling. This morning when we were driving in, we saw snow and slush, so some icy spots. The wet snow does look to continue today and tonight, and tomorrow morning it will clear out pretty quickly, so we will clear out tomorrow, and it shouldn't be a problem traveling throughout the rest of the day tomorrow. So here's a look at some snowfall totals. This is from all of our sky watchers. The heaviest of snow last night did fall south. We had Evanston and Milford at 4.5 inches. Then Old Forge up north at 3 inches. New Hartford and even Smith Hill here in Utica 2 inches, and Clinton just under 2 inches. So we are ranging around 2 to a little bit over 4 inches here this morning, and we will continue to see snow today. Gary.
so that's just the start, Hannah.
Yes.
Well, a local girls soccer
From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's meteorologist Hannah Evans.
Good morning, everybody. Today is still a Storm Tracker 2 alert day because we are tracking more snow today. It's going to be wet and heavy. That could cause some slippery conditions on the roads. Let's take a look now at our Cavity Tower camera overlooking the city of Utica. You can see it is a little bit darker outside. We are still tracking precipitation this morning. It is causing slippery conditions on the roads, so be careful of that. And the snow is wet and heavy. We could also still be seeing a few scattered power outages. Taking a look now at some of our snowfall totals as of this morning, we have the most amount of snow falling south, 4.5 inches in both Evanston and Milford. Old Forge up north at 3 inches. Then we have New Hartford and Holland Patton at 2 inches, and Clinton just under 2 inches this morning. We will continue to see snowfall today and even tonight. So here's a look now at our Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 Doppler radar. We are still seeing consistent snowfall up north and for our eastern portion of the Mohawk Valley and in areas of higher elevations. But if we do look closely, the Utica-Rome area, some portions of the Mohawk Valley are seeing a little bit of mixing. We're seeing some rain, even some sleet and freezing rain mixed in there. That can also cause very slippery conditions on the roadways. We're also seeing a few breaks down in Otsego County this morning. The snow today will continue, but it's not going to be too heavy, and we are going to be getting breaks here and there. It is just going to be dense, and it could cause slippery conditions. This is all due to this low pressure system, and it doesn't look to move out until early tomorrow morning. The snow will continue for all of today and even tonight. The National Weather Service still has our winter storm warning in effect until 7 a.m. tomorrow morning. This is due to the heavy wet snow and gusty winds. The nature of the snow can contribute to scattered power outages along with those winds. We could also be seeing very slippery and even icy conditions on the roads. Additional snowfall today is looking like 4 to 8 inches for today and tonight, widespread for all of us. This map goes into effect at 7 a.m. this morning and lasts until 7 a.m. tomorrow. That is when things do look to start to clear up. So for the rest of today, continuing to see widespread snow. There are going to be breaks here and there this afternoon, and it does look to continue tonight before quickly coming to an end early tomorrow morning. As you can see here, quickly moves out by 7 a.m. tomorrow. tomorrow. Our total snowfall forecast, we still have 10 to 14 inches for the eastern portion of our viewing area, along with areas of higher elevations and hilltops, and then 8 to 12 inches for most of us in the Mohawk Valley and the western portion of our viewing area. So we do start to see lake effect snow pick up, but it will remain north of us for the rest of the day on Saturday and even into Sunday. As we can see here, it is concentrated in Lewis County and in the Old Forge area. It does look to start to shift south into the Mohawk Valley later in the afternoon on Sunday. So for today, expect the heavy wet snow to continue, causing tricky travel issues, possibly causing a few more scattered power outages, and it will continue tonight before quickly coming to an end early tomorrow morning. So tomorrow, most of us will be dry, still seeing cloudy skies. That lake effect snow remains to the north. It remains to the north for most of the morning and early afternoon on Sunday. Then it does look to shift south into the Mohawk Valley and continue for Monday, Gary.
So get those shovels ready today.
Yes, so we are going to be seeing additional snowfall today, and we could be seeing tricky travel issues throughout the whole day.
Yeah, get you in the holiday spirit.
Yes, it does.
Hannah, thank you. Well, have you heard about the Central New York Green Bucket Project? I'm Gary Libator. Also ahead, the latest information from police on that violent night in the city of Utica. But first, let's get a check of your forecast. Meteorologist Hannah Evans joining us from the Weather Center with more on this. Seems like a really slow-moving storm.
Yes, so the snow is kind of not falling as heavy. We are just seeing like wet and dense snow, so that is why we issue an alert day, because power outages are possible with that, and that's also more slippery to drive in and harder to shovel.
Well, let's hope that power outage isn't coming to us. We had a little flicker here a few minutes ago.
Our power just went out for like a little bit, and then our generator kicked on.
Yeah.
So yes, that is possible today, power outages. So let's take a look now at additional snowfall that goes into effect today. We did see around 2 to a little bit over 4 inches of snow last night. Today, we're expecting another 4 to 8 inches to fall widespread, and the snow will slowly come to an end early tomorrow morning. So taking a look now at our Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 Doppler radar, we are seeing consistent snowfall for most of us, but I did want to point out there is an area of mixing in the Rome-Utica region. It's bringing in some rain, some freezing rain and sleet, so keep that in mind. Also, there are going to be a few breaks in the snow throughout the day. We can see now down in Otsego County, Oneonta, Cooperstown, there are a few breaks in the snowfall there. It's not going to be really heavy and persistent all day, but we will continue to see snow today, tonight, and into early tomorrow morning. So we'll continue today. Just be very careful for slippery conditions when driving, because the snow is kind of producing more slush on the roadways that can be very slippery. Power outages possible because the nature of the snow is wet and dense. That could fall on tree branches, power lines, and take them down. We are going to slowly clear out tomorrow morning before lake effect picks up for the north. As for today, once again, snow continues. It's going to be wet and dense. Temperatures just above freezing. I will be talking a little bit more about our snowfall totals and forecasts coming up, Gary.
Hannah, thank you. Let's get right to it now. National Grid is additional crews have been on standby in the areas that were expected to have issues. That plan also includes an open line contact between National Grid and emergency crews, along with social media postings, text messages, and emails to keep people in the loop.
When you see our trucks, give them plenty of space. They're going to go slow, slower than you'd like on the interstates. Give them plenty of room to brake. Give yourself plenty of room between you and other vehicles to brake as well. Don't try and pass our snowplows.
National Grid is also reminding people to stay away from fallen trees and downed power lines. They can create electricity and you could get injured. Officials from New York State Electric and Gas, or NYSEG, say that crews are continuing to work around the clock to restore any remaining outages up in the North Country. Most customers who were without power last night are expected to have it on by now. The remaining customers, they may not get it back until Saturday.
When we see a storm like this one coming in, we jump into storm mode. So that entails everything from holding our crews and our contractors in place to getting additional resources staged around the state, so that when we find out where the impact is happening, we can move those additional resources.
Most of NYSEG's outages are up in Clinton County, Essex County, Franklin, Hamilton, and St. Lawrence counties. Well, the snow event has the attention of the Weather Channel. In fact, they were here earlier last night interviewing our own chief meteorologist, Bill Curtis, regarding the storm. That's meteorologist Paul Goodloe right there talking to Bill. He's been with the Weather Channel for nearly 24 years. He's been in all the elements, and as a native New Yorker himself, he knows what we deal with here in our area.
Being in the elements to show our viewers at home what's going on and why they should stay out of it. This is why it's dangerous. This is why you should stay at home. We try to take every single precaution available. It might not look like it on TV, but we always have a safe spot to be no matter what Mother Nature can throw our way.
Boy, does he have an amazing voice right there. Paul will file reports for the Weather Channel from right here in our area later today. And a reminder, you can always head to WKTV.com for closings and delays. Well, violent night, busy night.
Welcome back. The snow we have been receiving last night and we will see today is going to be very wet and dense. So typically 1 inch of water that falls from the sky brings in around 10 inches of snowfall in typical snow. Lake effect, it is a little bit fluffier, so we will get a little bit more because it is a little bit cooler when it is lake effect is occurring. Today it is warmer. Our temperatures are above freezing and just around freezing. That creates wet and dense snowfall, only bringing out 5 inches of snow for 1 inch of water. It's harder to shovel and it is causing slippery conditions on the roadways more than just regular snow would cause. It also can cause a few scattered power outages because it is heavy, and if it does fall on power lines or branches fall down, that could cause power outages. So keep in mind, power outages are still going to be possible throughout the day as the snow continues to fall. So just be careful when you are driving. If you do see any downed power lines, definitely don't touch them or go near them, and just call the company and report anything like that. But today, just keep that in mind. That could happen, a few scattered power outages. Gary.
Hannah, thank you. We are bringing you a one-on-one interview this morning.
Most dependable weather team. Here's meteorologist Hannah Evans.
Good morning, everybody. Today is a Storm Tracker 2 alert day due to slippery commute conditions this morning, and we are going to continue to see snow today. Let's take a look now at the CAFE tower camera overlooking the city of Utica. As you can see, it is a little bit darker outside. We are seeing precipitation falling, and it will continue to fall throughout today and tonight. Scattered power outages are also still possible as the snow that's falling is going to be heavy and dense. So here's a look at some of our snowfall totals thus far. We have the heaviest of snow fell south of the Mohawk Valley, Evanston and Milford, 4.5 inches. Then we have Old Forge up north at 3 inches, New Hartford, Holland Patton at 2 inches, and Clinton at just under 2 inches to start this morning. We will continue to see additional snowfall today. Here's a look at our Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 Doppler radar. Snow is still falling pretty steady over our area. A few breaks are possible, as we can see down in Otsego County. A few breaks at this point, and mixing is possible. Utica Rome region around the area, we can see that green color. That is some rain, even some freezing rain and sleet is possible in that area this morning. But the rest of us are going to continue to see snow today, and it looks to continue until this low pressure system does move out, which will be early tomorrow morning. The National Weather Service still has that winter storm warning in effect until 7 a.m. tomorrow morning. This is due to the nature of the snow being heavy and wet. Also seeing very gusty winds. So gusty winds and the nature of the snow can still cause scattered power outages for today, so keep that in mind and be prepared for that. A look at additional snowfall today is 4 to 8 inches widespread for all of us. This snowfall map is in effect until early tomorrow morning. Once again, expecting an additional 4 to 8 inches for today into tomorrow morning. On our Skycast, we can see snow will remain widespread throughout the day, but we are going to be getting a few breaks here and there, and it's not going to be too heavy. Just the nature of the snow is heavy and wet. The snow continues overnight before quickly clearing up early tomorrow morning, as we can see here. So total snowfall is looking like 10 to 14 inches for the eastern portion of our viewing area and areas of higher elevations and hilltops. 8 to 12 inches can be expected for the western portion of our viewing area and up north in the Mohawk Valley. So around 8 inches to a foot of snow can be expected for most of us. On our Skycast, we can see here after Saturday morning, lake effect picks up for especially Lewis County and northern Herkimer County. That will continue for Saturday and even early in the morning on Sunday. As we can see here, the lake effect looks to shift south later in the afternoon on Sunday into the Mohawk Valley. So for today, expect that heavy wet snow to continue. Temperatures are going to be right above freezing, and it will continue tonight before slowly clearing out early tomorrow tomorrow morning. We have our alert day in effect today due to scattered power outages possible and slippery conditions, especially driving this morning. We dry out tomorrow with lake effect picking up north. That north lake effect does shift south later in the day on Sunday, Gary.
So just be careful out there today and tomorrow morning.
Yes, today, tomorrow morning, and then lake effect picks up, but I would worry about that on Sunday. It does shift south into Mohawk Valley on Sunday.
Hannah, thank you. Be sure to like us on Facebook and follow us to get to in this half hour of sunrise. But first, let's get a check of that forecast. Meteorologist Hannah Evans joining us now from the Weather Center, and a few inches of snow for some of us overnight, but more today.
Yes, so we did see around 2 to a little bit over 4 inches of snow last night, which is what we expected, and then we were expecting more snowfall to fall all today, and tonight we are going to be getting a little bit more.
Some maybe possibly a foot, huh?
Yes. So let's take a look now at the snowfall forecast for today and tonight. We are expecting an additional 4 to 8 inches of snowfall widespread for all of us, and the snow will slowly come to an end early tomorrow morning. Taking a look now at the Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 Doppler radar, we can see the snow is falling pretty steadily. There are going to be a few breaks in the snow throughout the day. It's not going to be falling super heavy, just the snow itself is heavy, wet, dense. We also are seeing some mixing actually occurring at this point. We can see in the Utica Rome area some rain with that green, and some freezing rain and sleet is possible, but otherwise most of us are seeing snow that is going to be wet and dense for the day. So snow continues for today, also will continue throughout tonight. Because of the nature of the snow and the gusty winds, power outages are still possible, so be prepared for that. It will slowly clear out tomorrow morning. Lake effect looks to pick up for the north tomorrow and Sunday. It doesn't look to shift into the Mohawk Valley until later in the day on Sunday. So for today, expect that wet and dense snow to continue. It's also going to remain windy, and then we'll be talking a little bit more about our snowfall totals and breaking down the forecast coming up, Gary.
Hannah, thank you. And don't forget the Storm Tracker 2 forecast, never more than 10 minutes away. Well, cases of COVID and other...
Welcome back. Let's take another look now at the Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 Doppler radar. Most of us are seeing snow this morning. We are going to be seeing a few breaks in the snow throughout the day, as we can see here down in Otsego County. Some areas are dry, including Oneonta, and we are also seeing some mixing in the Utica Rome area, some rain, some sleet, and freezing rain. That will make roadway conditions a little bit slippery. So we are seeing some slush outside when we were driving in this morning. So just be careful of that for this morning commute. Snow and slush. The wet, heavy snow continues throughout the rest of today and even tonight. As for tomorrow, though, everything should be cleared out. Lake effect picks up north, but otherwise, if you live in the Mohawk Valley and south, everything should be cleared and fine to drive in throughout the day tomorrow. Taking a look at some of our snowfall totals now, the heaviest of it did fall south. We have Evanston and Milford at 4.5 inches, Old Forge up north at 3 inches, Cooperstown 2.5 inches, and New Hartford, Highland Patent at 2 inches of snowfall as of this morning, and we will continue to see more snow today and tonight. Gary.
Thank you. A local girls soccer standout has...
From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's meteorologist Hannah Evans.
Good morning, everybody. Today is a Storm Tracker 2 alert day due to heavy snow continuing throughout the day, possibly causing slippery conditions on the roadways and scattered power outages. Let's take a look now at our CAV tower camera. It is looking quite dark outside. We are still seeing some precipitation falling at this hour. The snow and mixed precipitation continues throughout today and even tonight. So let's take a look now at some of the snowfall totals thus far. The heaviest of snow last night did fall south of the Mohawk Valley. As you can see, Evanston and Milford at 4.5 inches, Old Forge up north at 3 inches. Then we have Cooperstown at 2.5 inches, Holland Patent at 2 inches. Same thing goes for New Hartford. We will continue to see snowfall throughout the day, and it doesn't look to end until early tomorrow morning. So this morning, Nala may have a little bit trouble seeing her neighbor, as we are seeing precipitation could be causing for some visibility issues because it also is pretty windy. She is saying hello to Willow this morning. Definitely be careful for any slippery spots. It is very slushy outside on the roadways, along with a few icy spots. And for the evening commute, though, we will continue to see snow, but it should be a little bit better throughout the day. If you do want to be a part of this, you can head over to my Facebook page, post pictures of your cats over there. Taking a look now at our Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 Doppler radar. Snow is falling pretty steadily in the area, but we are seeing some areas of mixing. Taking a look at the Utica Rome area, we can see that green and that pink and that purple. That's rain, freezing rain, and sleet. So that is also possible possibility this morning, but it does look like snow will be our main priority today. That wet and dense snow does look to continue until this low pressure system moves out, which is not going to be until early tomorrow morning. The National Weather Service still has our winter storm warning in effect until 7 a.m. tomorrow morning, just due to the nature of the snow being heavy, wet, dense, also seeing gusty winds, and all that together can cause scattered power outages. So be prepared for that. Scattered power outages are still possible today. Additional snowfall today is looking like 4 to 8 inches, widespread for all of us. This map is in effect for today and tonight until 7 a.m. tomorrow. An additional 4 to 8 inches can be expected. The snow is not going to be too heavy throughout the day, just the nature of the snow is heavy. We are going to be seeing moderate snow showers, a few breaks are even possible this afternoon, and it looks to completely come to an end early tomorrow morning. Then after that, lake effect snow picks up for the north for most of tomorrow and even into Sunday. So our total snowfall forecast is looking like 10 to 14 inches for areas of higher elevations and hilltops and our eastern portion, and 8 to 12 inches for the rest of us can be expected for this whole event. That included last night, today, and tonight. So for today, expect snow to continue. Temperatures are going to be above freezing. That is why the nature of this snow is a little bit more dense and wet. The snow will continue tonight, and then we clear out early tomorrow morning. So the snow itself falling isn't falling heavily. The snow, the nature of it is heavy and wet and dense. That could cause slippery conditions on the roadways. It is a little bit harder to drive through it, and it's a little bit harder to shovel. Also could cause a few scattered power outages. The snow continues tonight until coming to an end tomorrow. Lake effect picks up for the north tomorrow and Sunday, and it looks to shift south into the Mohawk Valley later in the day on Sunday into Monday, Gary.
So, just grab that shovel today because you're going to need it.
Yes, definitely maybe later today because we are going to be seeing additional snowfall even after this morning.
Not too bad, though.
Yes.
Hannah, thank you. Well, some encouragement.
From where the news comes first, this is News Channel 2 at 7 a.m. on CW11.
Good morning, and thank you for joining us this morning. I'm Gary Liberatore. We begin this Friday morning with a check of your Storm Tracker 2 forecast. Meteorologist Hannah Evans joining us from the Weather Center with the very latest on this slow-moving storm that has so far dumped a couple of inches here in our area.
Yes, so we woke up to a couple of inches in most of our areas this morning, but we are going to be seeing additional snowfall today, which accounts for a total tomorrow. So, I mean, people right now are waking up and are like, where's the snow? It's a 36-hour thing. So tomorrow is when all the snow will be accumulated. So let's take a look now at our forecast for today. Last night we saw a couple of inches. This snowfall forecast goes into effect now through 7 a.m. tomorrow morning. An additional 4 to 8 inches can be expected, and it is going to be wet and dense snow, so maybe a little bit harder to shovel, a little bit harder to travel in. Here's our Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 Doppler radar. Snow is falling pretty steadily in our area, but taking a look at the Utica Rome area, we are seeing some places of mixing. That's rain, freezing rain, sleet, so keep that in mind. That could cause for some of the snow to wash away, but we are going to continue to see wet snowfall fall for today. Power outages are still possible due to the nature of the snow. It also is pretty windy outside, so just be prepared for the possibility of a power outage. We are going to continue to see snow tonight before it clears out tomorrow morning. So for the rest of today, it is going to continue to snow. It's going to be windy with temperatures right above freezing. I will be talking a little bit more about our snowfall totals this morning coming up. Back to you, Gary.
Hannah, thank you. Let's get right to it now. National Grid have been on standby all night long to handle any potential power outages. Luckily, none to report here in our area. And the New York State DOT is one step ahead of the storm with a plan of action. Additional crews have been on standby in the areas that were expected to have any issues from heavy snow. Governor Hochul even sending 8 extra snowplow crews in to help with the storm.
When you see our trucks, give them plenty of space. They're going to go slow, slower than you'd like on the interstates. Give them plenty of room to brake. Give yourself plenty of room between you and other vehicles to brake as well. Don't try and pass our snowplows.
Utility companies, meanwhile, want to remind people to stay away from fallen trees and especially downed power lines. And if you do see any, report them as soon as you can. Officials from New York State Electric and Gas, or NYSEG, say crews are continuing to work around the clock to restore any remaining outages up in the North Country. Most customers up there who were without power last night are expected to have it back on by now, but the remaining customers are expected to have it by Saturday.
And when we see a storm like this one coming in, we jump into storm mode. So that entails everything from holding our crews and our contractors in place to getting additional resources staged around the state so that when we find out where the impact is happening, we can move those additional resources.
Most of NYSEG's outages are up in the Clinton, Essex, Franklin, Hamilton, and St. Lawrence counties. Well, the snow event has the attention of the Weather Channel. In fact, they were here earlier last night interviewing our own Chief Meteorologist Bill Curtis regarding the storm. That is meteorologist Paul Goodloe talking with Bill right there. He's been with the Weather Channel for nearly 24 years now. He's been in all of the elements, and as a native New Yorker himself, he knows what we deal with here in our area.
Being in the elements to show our viewers at home what's going on and why they should stay out of it. This is why it's dangerous. This is why you should stay at home. We try to take every single precaution available. It might not look like it on TV, but we always have a safe spot to be no matter what Mother Nature can throw our way.
Boy, does he have a great broadcast voice right there. Paul will file the reports for the Weather Channel from here in our area later today. And a reminder, you can always head to WKTV.com for any closings and delays. Well, police.
From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's meteorologist Hannah Evans.
Good morning, everybody. Today is a Storm Tracker 2 alert day due to wet and dense snow that is going to be falling throughout the day, and we could be seeing a few scattered power outages. Let's take a look now at the CAV tower camera. Overlooking the city of Utica, we can see it is pretty gloomy outside, cloudy skies, and we are seeing a mix here this morning. Most of the roads are plowed, so should be fine with that, but some of the back roads may be a little bit slick and slushy, so be careful with that this morning. Here's a look at our snowfall totals from our sky watchers and trained spotters to start this morning. We have Sequoia coming in at just under 5 inches, Milford and Evanston at 4.5, Old Forge at 3 inches, Cooperstown at 2.5 inches, and New Hartford at 2 inches. But once again, snow is going to continue to fall today and tonight. Here's a look at our Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 Doppler radar. Pretty consistent with some snowfall, but most of the Utica-Rome region at this point is seeing some mixed precipitation as well. That could be washing away the snow that's on the ground, but we will continue to see the snowfall, unsettled weather until early tomorrow morning. That is when this low pressure system will move out of the area. The National Weather Service still has us under a winter storm warning in effect until 7 a.m. tomorrow due to this heavy wet snow with gusty winds. And since the nature of the snow is going to be dense, that brings in the possibility of scattered power outages along with those gusty winds. So keep that in mind for today. That is another thing that is possible. So from now until 7 a.m. tomorrow, we are expecting an additional 4 to 8 inches of snowfall on top of our snowfall we have already seen last night. So this is in effect today into early tomorrow morning before that snow clears out. So we will continue to see widespread snow today, but there are going to be breaks here and there, and it's not going to be falling too heavily. It is just the nature of the snow is heavy itself because it is wet and dense. The snow will continue until early tomorrow morning. It will continue turning lighter tonight, and then once we hit 7 a.m. tomorrow, most of that snow from the system will clear out. So our total snowfall forecast, we still have 8 inches to a foot for the Mohawk Valley, north and south on our western portion, and on our eastern portion, areas of higher elevations and hilltops, 10 to 14 inches of snowfall for this entire event. That includes last night, today, and tonight. So for the rest of today, expect the snow to continue. Roads may be a little bit slippery and scattered power outages are possible. It also is going to remain windy. Temperatures are just above freezing though, so you could be seeing some mixing in there as well. The snow continues tonight. It gets a little bit lighter overnight and then fully comes to an end early tomorrow morning. So today has been issued as a Storm Tracker 2 alert day due to heavy, wet, and dense snowfall that could cause slippery conditions on the roadways and a few scattered power outages. It does start to lighten up tonight, but still falls overnight. Tomorrow, lake effect picks up for the north, but most of us will be dry, seeing cloudy skies. The lake effect that is staying north will continue for the earlier hours on Sunday. Then it does look to shift into the Mohawk Valley later on Sunday, and it looks to continue for Monday. But next week is trending a little bit cooler and a little bit snowier.
Us, we are in the middle of a slow-moving weather system that brought about 2 to 4 inches of snow overnight in most parts, but most places will be seeing twice that at least for the rest of this weather event. Meteorologist Hannah Evans is in, and Hannah, this is some really wet and heavy snow that's coming down.
Yes, so the snow is very dense and it is wet, and it does look to continue to be widespread until tonight. Then we will be seeing lingering showers overnight before fully coming to an end tomorrow morning. Let's take a look now at the Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 Doppler radar. As we can see, all of us are seeing heavier snowfall at this hour. It actually has started to really pick up from last night, and we are seeing snowfall rates around ½ an inch to 1 inch at this hour for most of us. So additional snowfall from right now until 7 a.m. tomorrow, we are looking at around 2 to 4 inches in additional snowfall. Higher amounts can be expected in areas of higher elevations and in hilltops. So the snow looks to continue for the rest of today. It is going to get lighter overnight, but it also will continue overnight in some parts. Power outages are still possible because the snow is very dense and it is wet. That could fall on branches, take down some branches, and it could also fall on power lines. But once again, we are going to clear out tomorrow morning. After we clear out from this system, lake effect picks up for the north tomorrow and Sunday, and it does look to shift south into the Mohawk Valley later in the day on Sunday. So for the rest of today, the snow will continue. It will turn lighter overnight. Temperatures will range right around and just above freezing. And I will talk a little bit more about snowfall totals so far coming up, Gary.
Hannah, thank you. The roads are slippery, as is evident by this pickup truck that ended up in that ditch right there this morning in Deerfield. It happened on Walker Road just before 10 this morning. No word on any injuries or the extent of the damage to that pickup. But again, these roads are slippery, so take your time if you do have to be out in this weather. And the snow that did fall this morning was heavy and heavy. That meant most people who were out trying to get ahead of the next round were taking it slow with the shoveling. In the city of Utica, folks were happy to only see a couple of inches of snow, but they were surprised at how long it took them to get rid of what was there.
Not as bad as the weatherman said, but it could have been worse. So still got to clean it up and, deal with upstate New York weather,
It's heavy wet snow and I'm old. I'm not too young. I'm not in good shape anymore.
So be careful out there. That snow is heavy. And the crew from the Weather Channel is actually in town. They were doing live shots all morning from right in downtown Utica. Right now, we're not sure exactly where their next spot will be here around the area, but you can catch them all day on the Weather Channel throughout the day. And a news crew from NBC is over in Syracuse covering the storm. More than 20 million people are under winter weather alerts as the system rolls through the Northeast and New England through the weekend. NBC's Kathy Park has more now from downtown Syracuse.
We have been tracking this cross-country storm ever since Tuesday. Well, it has finally landed here in the Northeast. Here in Syracuse, we're looking at several inches of wet snow on the ground, and the snow really began falling yesterday afternoon. But this is a long-duration storm, and the system will finally push on out of here later on this evening. The higher elevations could be looking at a foot of snow or more. So a lot of schools are canceled today, and a lot of folks are encouraged to work from home if that is an option. Meanwhile, the system is also being blamed for blizzard conditions in the Great Plains. Duluth, Minnesota got slammed with nearly 2 feet of snow in a span of 48 hours. And also on the warm side of the storm, tornadoes respond across 7 states. In hard-hit Louisiana, entire homes and buildings were completely leveled, and the death toll has now climbed to at least 3. Meanwhile, back here in Syracuse, as you can see, the snow is still coming down. It's going to be on and off again throughout the day today. But in addition to all the snow, wind gusts are a concern as well. Some spots could be looking at 20 to 25 mile per hour wind gusts, which could lead to downed power lines and trees. In Syracuse, Kathy Park, NBC News.
Kathy, thanks. Locally, 50 Forward, Mohawk Valley, and the Oneida County Office for the Aging are once again partnering this year for their volunteer snow shoveling program. This program is especially helpful for older adults in our community who are unable to shovel walkways and entrances into their homes, especially after a heavy snowfall, and are also unable to afford to pay someone to shovel.
A lot of times you can get a plow driver and stuff like that, but nobody to shovel their walkways, which, if there's an emergency or something like that, they need the area cleared. This program is for all of Oneida County. So we are looking for volunteers 18 and over throughout Oneida County. If there's younger people that want to do it, you know, and they want to bring their parent, great. They can reach out to us and we will kind of do a match.
That they will. Volunteers will be matched with older adults in their community. Those that are interested in volunteering should contact 50 Forward Volunteer Resource Center at 315-235-2029. And due to the weather, the Upstate University Hospital mobile mammography van from Syracuse did not make the trip to Utica today. It was supposed to be at the Pines over in Utica. We checked in with Upstate University Hospital, and they say as soon as a new date is set, they will let us know, and we'll let you know. The van makes stops around central New York throughout the year to make it easier to get a mammogram. Utica Police.
Central New York's most dependable weather team. Here's meteorologist Hannah Evans.
Good afternoon, everybody. We are still tracking heavy, wet snow that will continue for the rest of today, and it looks to die down tonight. Let's take a look now at our Utica National Tower camera overlooking Main Street in Cooperstown. It is snowing, and if you take a close look at the roads are a bit slick. That snow is wet, it is getting a bit slushy, and it is making the cars slip a little bit, so definitely just be careful of that if you are driving around at all. We are seeing slicker roadways at this point than this morning, and we do have some snowfall totals as of noon. Once again, the heaviest of snow is falling south. We have Paris at 9 inches, Cassville at 8 inches, 6.5 in Otsego, 5 inches in Cooperstown, 4.5 in Forestport, and 3 inches in Frankfort Center. The snow will continue for the rest of the afternoon, and tonight it will get a little bit lighter overnight before fully coming to an end early tomorrow morning. So Nala is having a little bit of a trouble saying hi to her neighbor Willow this afternoon because we are still seeing wet snow continuing, so maybe causing for visibility issues. It also is a bit windy outside, so blowing of the snow in the air could also be a problem in terms of visibility. For the evening commute, we will also continue to see the snow, slippery conditions on the roadways along with slush, so definitely just be very careful for slick conditions when driving. Here's a look now at our Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 Doppler radar. At this point, though the snow is widespread, all of us are seeing some type of snowfall, and once again, it is a wetter type of snow. It's not light and fluffy like we usually see with lake effect, and it is coming out of the south due to this low pressure system. This will linger around for tonight, and it won't fully move out until early tomorrow morning, and that's when the snow will end. So looking at the temperatures, this is the reason why the snow is so wet, because our temperatures are around and just above freezing. We have 33 degrees in Ilion and Clinton, 35 degrees in Cooperstown, but we are seeing snow at this hour because cooler air aloft is cooler, so it is producing snow, and the snow is falling and it is sticking. Although our temperatures are around and just above freezing, we are still seeing wet snow at this hour. We will continue to see snow today and tonight, so from now until 7 a.m. tomorrow, an additional 2 to 4 inches widespread can be expected in terms of snowfall for the rest of today. So on our Skycast, we continue the snow to be widespread. We will be getting a few on and off breaks throughout the rest of the afternoon and evening, and tonight it will come to an end. It looks to clear up early tomorrow morning. Lake effect picks up for the north throughout the day tomorrow, and that looks to continue into Sunday. It is concentrated mainly in Lewis and northern Herkimer County. It will continue throughout the day on Sunday, and it looks to shift south later in the afternoon on Sunday into the Mohawk Valley and the south. So for the rest of today, we will continue to see snow from that low pressure system. It is going to be wet and dense, causing slippery conditions on the roads. It looks to lighten up a little bit tonight before fully coming to an end early tomorrow morning. So north will be seeing lake effect snow tomorrow, but most of us are going to be seeing dry conditions with cloudy skies. The lake effect snow does look to shift south into the Mohawk Valley for Sunday and looks to continue on Monday, Gary.
Hannah, thank you. Well, it's not just snow that is causing major headaches weather-wise across the country. Those tornadoes in the south have been deadly, and the process of cleaning up the damage is just beginning. NBC's Jay Gray has more now from Gretna, Louisiana.
Hey there, we're in Gretna, Louisiana right now, just on the west side of the Mississippi, right across the river from New Orleans. and the cleanup, the recovery continuing after a string of deadly tornadoes across the state of Louisiana. I want to give you a look at some of the debris and what's going on right now. You can see the torn away siding here, and this is the type of situation playing out across this state. 3 people died during what were at least 20 tornadoes across this state, 5 on the ground here in the New Orleans area alone. Thousands still without power as recovery begins, and a lot of families here not only cleaning up the mess, but wondering how and where they're going to spend their holidays. These storms, part of a massive system that's been moving across most of the country over the last several days, now targeting the Northeast with heavy winds, snow, and ice, and that's going to continue through the weekend. That's the latest from here in Louisiana. I'm Jay Gray. Back to you now.
NBC's Jay Gray in Louisiana today. Jay, thanks. Coming up, the final count. Welcome back. The big story of the day, the snow. And Hannah, luckily we aren't seeing what they did in Black Hills, South Dakota right here. Check this out, right in our own backyard.
That's like 3 feet. 4
Almost
feet.
being buried.
Yeah, I know. We're not seeing that here. We're seeing at this point a range from around 3 inches to even 9 inches in some areas, and we will continue to see snowfall today and tonight.
Yeah, it's coming down pretty good out there right now.
Yes, it really did pick up this morning. So let's take a look now at the Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 Doppler radar. Heavy snow still falling for most of us for the rest of the afternoon. We are going to be seeing on and off breaks, though. It's not looking to persist throughout the entire day. It looks to continue tonight. It does turn lighter overnight, though, and then it will come to an end tomorrow morning. So from now until 7 a.m. tomorrow, we are expecting an additional 2 to 4 inches of snowfall widespread, and it is going to be that heavy, wet snow. So it may be a little bit harder to shovel. It's going to cause slippery roadway conditions. The roads, as of right now, are actually getting pretty slick. So snow continues for today. It really did pick up from this morning. Power outages are still possible because the snow is wet in nature, and that could stick to power lines and it could cause branches to fall down. We also are seeing pretty gusty winds. This will continue tonight. We will start to see a slowdown overnight, and then we'll clear out tomorrow morning. So for the rest of the day, expect widespread snowfall. On and off breaks are possible. It's going to remain a little bit windy with temperatures around and just above freezing, and I will be talking about our snowfall totals coming up, Gary.
Hannah, thank you. Russia has launched major attacks across Ukraine today.
From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's meteorologist Hannah Evans.
Good afternoon, everybody. We are still tracking snow coming down, and the roads are getting a little bit slippery, so just be careful when driving for the rest of the day. Let's take a look now at our Utica National Tower camera overlooking Main Street in Cooperstown. I am showing this to kind of show the roadway conditions. We can see there is accumulation on the roads, and it is wet snow, so it is kind of feeling a little more slushy, which is going to be more slippery if you are driving over it, so just be very, very careful of that. And then taking a look now at our Cavie Tower camera, we are seeing the snow coming down pretty steadily at this hour. It is going to continue to come down for the rest of the day. Looking to continue to come down overnight as well, but it is going to be lighter in nature, and then we look to come to an end early tomorrow morning. So here's updated snowfall totals for noon. Our most amount of snow is falling to the south of the Mohawk Valley at this point. 9 inches in Paris, 8 inches in Cassville, 6.5 in Otsego, and 5 inches in Cooperstown. Then we have Forestport at 4.5 inches and Frankfort Center at 3 inches. So we are going to continue to see the snow for the rest of the day. Here is our Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 Doppler radar. It is still widespread. Throughout the day, on and off breaks can be expected, but overall, this doesn't look to fully clear out until early tomorrow morning. That is because it is moving in from the south due to this low pressure system, and this system does not look to move out until early tomorrow morning. I also want to point out the temperatures. We are just around and above freezing, 33 degrees in Ilion and Clinton, 34 degrees in Otsego. But we are seeing snow at this hour because there is cooler air aloft, and that is allowing for it to fall as snow. So although we are not below freezing for the snowfall event, we are seeing wet snow because we are around and just above freezing, and the snow is falling from cooler air aloft. So for the rest of the day into early tomorrow morning, widespread 2 to 4 inches of snowfall can be expected, and that is until the snowfall event ends early tomorrow morning. So we will continue to see widespread snow with on and off breaks throughout the rest of the afternoon. It turns lighter overnight before coming to an end tomorrow morning. Now tomorrow, lake effect is expected to pick up for the north throughout the day, and that looks to continue into Sunday as well. The lake effect is expected to shift south later in the afternoon on Sunday into the Mohawk Valley and the southern valleys. So for today, the snow will continue. Roadways are going to be getting a bit slippery. Power outages are possible as it is heavy and wet snow. It lingers tonight. It will become lighter in nature, but it will still continue until early tomorrow morning. Tomorrow, we will dry out for most of us with that lake effect continuing up north. The lake effect continues up north for Sunday and then slowly shifts to the south into the Mohawk Valley by the afternoon hours of Sunday. This will linger into Monday as well. And we are trending cooler next week, Gary.
Hannah, thank you. Scientists in California say they've successfully created...
Beautiful. Yeah. This heavy, wet snow has been falling for hours, stopped for a little bit, but it is expected to pick back up.
That's right. And to get you updated on snowfall and where we're going from here, we want to send it over to meteorologist Eric Gage, tracking the very latest from the Weather Center. Eric, good evening.
Good evening, Jason. Yes, we are continuing to track some snowfall moving throughout our area this evening. This will continue on and off snow until early tomorrow morning. Taking a look at our updated snowfall totals, Sunday from Skywatchers. Inlet checking with 14 inches of snow. It also could be including some additional snowfall on the ground from before. Forestport checking with 11.5 inches. Cassville 9 inches, New Hartford 6.5 inches, Boonville 7 inches, and West Leyden checking in with 8 inches. And once again, the snowfall is not done yet. Here's a live look at our radar. Still wind direction moving up towards the north, still tracking on and off snow showers, especially the heavier snow bands heading towards Little Falls and St. Johnsville right now. Once again, we're tracking more dry weather underneath this. Taking a look right here, Oneonta still tracking a band of dry weather, and this will continue to see scattered snow showers for area for tonight. And once again, temperatures still remaining hovering around freezing, so that means this snowfall will continue to fall as more wet and more densely packed snow. So as we just prepare for possible travel difficulties, especially for tonight and early tomorrow morning. Also having more additional snowfall totals coming up. Back over to you.
Eric, thank you. We're continuing to follow the breaking news out of Whitesboro. Under the weight of heavy snow, a building has collapsed. Now, this is the Bottle Drop on Oriskany Boulevard. You're looking at wreckage from the Foster Street side. This all happened about 4:15 this afternoon. Crews were called to the scene. We're trying to get more information about the situation, including was anybody hurt? Was anybody inside when this happened? We'll stay on the story. We also have a crew on the scene and bring you new information as soon as it becomes available. Now, in addition to slick roadways, power outages happening as well. The snow is heavy and it's pulling down those power lines.
Never touch a downed line. It could be live. Between National Grid and NYSEG customers, here are the latest numbers. In Oneida County, 291. Based on what I'm saying, not on what you're seeing. Oneida County 291, Herkimer County 6, Otsego County 342. If you are using a generator, make sure it is outside and away from your home. Want to make sure everyone's staying safe out there. They came, they forecasted, they ate. The Weather Channel team,
in that order?
I'm thinking they loved Utica.
Oh, yeah.
Meteorologist Paul Goodlow and his team, they moved on to Western New York after spending a lot of time in Utica. They broadcasted live several times last night and again this morning from Genesee Street in downtown Utica. Now it's on to Buffalo.
All 47 workers of the Utica DPW garage are hard at work in the snow event. We're told there is a skeleton plow crew on at this hour, but they're going to let the workers sleep. They'll be back, all hands on deck very soon. A reminder, the city has called a snow emergency, which means you cannot park on the roads after 10 p.m. If you don't move your car, it could be ticketed or even towed. This is because the plow drivers are just trying to clear the snow.
We just do the best with what we have. Like last night, we came in at 11, cleared up all the mess from last night. We'll work, that same group of guys will work until 3 o'clock this afternoon. We'll send them home for a little while to get some shut-eye. We'll have a skeleton crew on to support the city. And then depending on how much snow we get, we'll bring them back in at 11 o'clock tonight, finish cleaning the city till Saturday morning, Saturday afternoon.
Short says the main roads will get plowed first, then the side streets, then the dead ends. A reminder, stay at least 50 feet away from the plow.
When you get out there and you're shoveling, just be careful. Your heart can have a lot of stress. The American Heart Association wants to remind you to take breaks. The smaller the shovel, the safer it will be, because when you're lifting smaller amounts, more times, that's better than lugging a few huge shovelfuls of snow. In fact, if you can, push the snow, don't lift the snow. And eating a large meal can put an extra load on your heart, so don't do that before you shovel.
And look out for your elderly neighbors. 50 Forward Mohawk Valley and the United County Office for the Aging still looking for volunteers to snow shovel. It's a great program for seniors who simply just can't get out and shovel their walkways and entrances to their homes, especially after a heavy snowfall like this one. Well, these are people who can't afford to pay someone to do it either. So we did find some young entrepreneurs trying to earn some money by shoveling, but said they do it occasionally for free.
The phone calls have already started. People looking for assistance. And we've been pushing for, we launched this December 1st. There's obviously, we're in central New York. We'll have snow all the way through March.
Volunteers will be matched with older adults in neighborhoods. Those that are interested in volunteering should contact 50 Forward Volunteer Resource Center. The phone number right there on your screen.
First responders have responded to a dozen or so accidents since the snow started to fall. The more serious one that we saw was at 1 p.m. A jackknifed tractor trailer on the thruway. State police took this picture. The crash happened between Verona and Westmoreland in the eastbound lane, totally blocking traffic. Drivers were forced off the thruway at exit 33. Not far from WKTV, this was Walker Road in Deerfield this morning. A pickup truck landed in a ditch because of the slick roadways. No word on any injuries. The United County Sheriff's Office responded to this crash.
New at 6, Governor Hochul signed legislation today introducing a blue alert system.
From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good evening and welcome back. Continuing to track more snowfall moving across the area for this evening. The snow is not done just yet. We're still tracking maybe 1 to 4 inches of additional accumulation with those higher totals possible in those higher elevations. Take a look outside. Our Cavity Tower camera, you can see right in the corner. We tried to catch this. Oh, we see one underneath the logo as well. Looking at Santa moving through the area right now, making a stop in Deerfield. They tried to catch it a little bit earlier, but here it is right now. Santa making a quick visit to the Utica area. Taking a live look at a Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 Doppler radar, still tracking snowfall moving through an area not as widespread as earlier, but still this snowfall is falling as dense and wet snow. So this could produce, once again, some additional travel issues for tonight. Just make sure you plan any extra time if you have to leave for tonight. This should mostly dry up by tomorrow morning and tomorrow afternoon with a few lingering flurries as the system continues to move its way up towards the northeast. Now, taking a look at our Skywatcher snowfall totals, generally in the 8 to 14 inch range. Inlet 14 inches, Old Forge 10 inches, 7 inches in Barneveld, a little bit lower in the Mohawk Valley, 6.5 in New Hartford, 6 inches in Clinton. In the Southern Valleys, looking at snowfall totals in the 8 to 10 inch range, 6.25 inch in Whitesboro, 8 inches in Evanston, 8.5 in Cooperstown, 6 inches checking in Mohawk. And right now, the bigger picture, this nor'easter will continue to move its way up towards the northeast, still looking at more dry weather for the weekend, but we can't rule out additional flurries as well as lake effect snow, especially north of the Mohawk Valley as we head into Saturday night and an early Sunday morning. And this will be more of a long duration lake effect event. We'll have updates on possible snowfall accumulation tomorrow for the morning show at 9 a.m. So in our Skycast for tonight, still looking at temperatures remaining in the lower 30s to upper 20s. Drying out for the most part by tomorrow afternoon. Still could see a few lingering flurries. And then the lake effect snow band, still disorganized, starts to develop north of the Mohawk Valley. This will continue for Saturday night as well as Sunday. And once again, it all depends on exactly where the exact wind direction will be. But still, if you're in northern United County as well as northern Herkimer County, you could expect some additional snowfall for the remainder of the weekend. And after that, too, could also see some more snowfall arriving Sunday evening as that wind direction shifts and moves out towards the south, bringing more additional snowfall to our area by Sunday night. So for tonight, low of 28 degrees, snow continuing tomorrow, high of 33, mostly cloudy with a few flurries up towards the north. And our 7-day forecast looking at more cooler temperatures for the next several days. 32 degrees Sunday and Monday. Still lake effect snow showers moving in. Dry weather on Tuesday, and then snow showers return, wrapping up the week Thursday and Friday.
All right, Eric, thank you. All right, Jason ran outside. And we saw Santa.
Yeah.
Santa Claus himself coming up Grace Road in Deerfield, and at this moment making his way down Smith Hill Road, still hearing the sirens. This has been a tradition in Deerfield for as long as I've been here at WKTV.
And as long as I've been here too.
And even at our age, we still get excited to get that little wave and the Christmas greeting, and we appreciate it so much. Thank you for making.
Look at the
I know, decked
fire
out.
truck.
They decked the hall.
Oh, wow.
Thank you for making the trip in the snow. And I don't want to put words in Santa's mouth, but I'm pretty sure he's looking at hydrants and saying, if you have one near your house and you can help out firefighters, just clear the snow away from the fire hydrants.
We're going to take a quick break and come back with more. Powers, thank you for joining us. We are 3/4 of the way through this snow event. Still widespread snow expected into the overnight plows. We're out getting the job done today. More on that in a moment. First, though, we want to check in with meteorologist Eric Gage on what we can expect for the rest of the evening into Saturday morning, Eric. And it's still coming down out there right now.
Yeah, we had a bit of a break in between the evening show as well as now, and things are starting to wind up again in terms of snowfall. So we'll continue for the most part tonight before things start to wind down by, once again, tomorrow, right on the mid-morning hours when the more widespread snow comes to an end. So we're taking a look at our Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 DOP the radar. The areas in the Utica-Rome region were above freezing, so some of the snowfall turned to sleet in the past couple of hours. That has since turned to more heavier snowfall as those temperatures have started to fall below freezing, around 32 degrees. For the most part, still widespread, not so much in terms of heavy snowfall, just the heavier flakes due to the warmer temperatures. This will continue for the next couple of hours. We're also looking at the wind direction shifting. That's when the snowfall comes to an end. As the nor'easter moves its way up towards the northeast, the wind direction shifts in the west, and we're tracking more dry weather to move into our area as we head into early tomorrow morning. And taking a look at our Skywatcher snowfall totals for the past couple of hours, still with the 10-inch range in Old Forge, as well as for 14 inches in Inlet, 8.5 inches in Curtis Corners. This is from 6 p.m. We do have more updated totals coming up in the next couple of minutes. But once again, current temperature 32 degrees, so just around the freezing point when those snowflakes are going to be the densest. And for tonight, cooling down only into the upper 20s with few lingering flurries and snow showers. That will continue into tomorrow morning. And we're tracking more dry weather for the weekend, and along with some lake effect snow for some areas. I'll be talking about that a little bit more coming up. Back over to you.
All right, Eric, thank you. We continue to follow the collapsed building due to a heavy weight of snow in Whitesboro. Tonight, we have new video and new information from the Whitesboro Fire Chief. Calls came in just after 4 for a collapsed building on Oriskany Boulevard in Whitesboro. It's the Bottle Drop Redemption Center. Whitesboro Fire Chief George Maserati tells me that no one was there at the time of the collapse. Very fortunate. The building is a total loss. The road behind the building, Foster Street, still closed at this hour and will be for just the next couple of days. Contractor is scheduled to come in tomorrow to start the process of tearing down the entire structure. The city of Utica declared a snow emergency so plow crews could get this heavy, wet snow off the road and so you can get where you need to go safely. But what goes into that plan? Well, we checked in with Utica DPW Commissioner Dave Short, a veteran of many Central New York winters, to find out. When the first word came through our team of meteorologists that a storm was coming this week, well, the Utica DPW immediately put their plans in motion.
We started preparing earlier in the week, actually, going through the plows, checking things out, making sure the salt spreaders work, making sure that the trucks even start still. We have a lot of older equipment, so we want to make sure everything's still up on par. We made contact with our partners, meaning our salt suppliers, the town of New Hartford, who provides us with some brine, so we can go out and brine before the storm. So there's a lot to it, and then we just wait.
And then the snow came, started Thursday night, so Utica declared a snow emergency.
Every night by 10 o'clock, you need to be off the city streets, your vehicles. You need to park it somewhere else. You can park free at city lots, park in your neighbor's driveway, whatever you need to do, but get off the street. Otherwise, you could be possibly ticketed and or towed. So your vehicle is off the street so we can get through and plow.
The plows are big, and if the city can't get down the street, important to note, they just won't plow that street right away. You see, this was a snow event that had all hands on deck, so on Thursday night, all 47 people worked around the clock overnight. A short break in the afternoon into the early evening, and then it was back at it again Friday night. One thing that is important to note for any storm.
The guys out there, they're working long hours. Give them a break. There's signs on the back of those trucks that say stay back 50 feet. That's for your protection, your car's protection, so that it doesn't get belted with salt. So abide the rules, be careful on the roads, stay safe, and, you know, take it easy out there.
Now, this is the kind of snow that can cause an injury. It's heavy, could hurt your back and your heart if you're not careful. So the American Heart Association passed this information along to us, so we want to share it with you to remind you to take some breaks. Don't overstress your heart. The smaller the shovel, the safer you will be, because you'll be lifting smaller amounts. More times is better than lugging a few huge shovelfuls of snow. Trust me, I shoveled this stuff today. It is heavy. I took smaller breaks. I also took smaller. If I can do it, you can do it. And don't eat a large meal. That puts an extra load on your heart. Just don't go out and do that, then try and shovel. And look out for your elderly neighbors. 50 Forward, Mohawk Valley, and the United County Office for the Aging still looking for volunteer snow shovelers. It's a great program for seniors who just simply can't get out and shovel their own walkways and entrances, especially after a heavy snowfall like this one. These are the people who can't afford to pay someone to do it. So volunteers will be matched up with older adults in their neighborhoods. Those that are interested in volunteering should contact 50 Forward Volunteer Resource Center. The phone number right there on your screen, 315-235-2029. Hey, there were a lot of accidents on the roadways today, dozens since the snow started, a lot in Otsego County as well. So we want to get you caught up on this particular accident. This was one of the more serious crashes. Check this out, 1 o'clock on the thruway, a jackknife tractor trailer. State police sent us these pictures. The crash happened between Verona and Westmoreland in the eastbound lane. Totally blocked traffic. Drivers were forced off the highway at exit 33. Obviously, things back open tonight. New tonight, a source confirms the January 6th committee is considering referring Donald Trump to the Justice.
From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good evening and welcome back. We are entering the final stretch of this nor'easter that brought pretty significant snowfall to most parts of the area, some wet, dense snow causing some travel issues, but also some perfect snowmen to be built as well with that wet, compact snow. Taking a live look at the Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 Doppler radar, still once again, snow showers are continuing to move into our area. Temperatures across the region have mostly fallen below freezing, causing the snow to finally no longer fall as sleet for those lower elevations and turn into more dense, heavier snowflakes. This will continue for tonight before things finally wrap up by tomorrow. You can see the broad area rotation right here. That's the center of the nor'easter. That will continue to move its way up towards the northeast by later tonight. Snowfall totals from the New York State Mesonet up to date so far: 10 inches in Old Forge, 11 inches in Woodgate, 6 inches in Westmoreland, 4 inches in Camden. That area largely got spared, especially in western United County. However, those higher elevations south of Mohawk Valley, they got the most of the snow. 10 inches in Brookfield and 13 inches in Springfield, with snow still arriving for tonight. So for those higher elevations, you'll be on the higher end of our snowfall forecast, while those of you that saw rain earlier on this morning, especially in the Utica-Rome region, you're going to be on the lower end, seeing maximum around 8 inches of total accumulation. So the bigger picture right now, this nor'easter is moving its way up towards the northeast. Behind that, more dry weather in the forecast relatively, no more widespread snowfall, but it doesn't mean snowfall is out of the picture just yet. Looking at lake effect snow bands moving over the north country by tomorrow as well as Sunday. Not as developed on Saturday, but on Sunday that will move through, bringing some significant snowfall. I'll have the exact path for you as we head into Sunday as well as Saturday. So our skycast for tonight, still temperatures cooling down into the lower 30s to upper 20s. The widespread snowfall coming to an end by tomorrow morning. Still could see a few lingering flurries with temperatures still hovering in the around freezing range, looking to be maximum of 35 degrees by tomorrow. Also keeping an eye on this disorganized band of lake effect snow. This starts to be forming in a more organized band by Saturday night and into Sunday. This can produce some significant totals, especially in the Tug Hill region. We'll have a snowfall forecast, early estimates for tomorrow. The early estimate is looking ahead to seeing more snowfall, especially in the northern Roanoke County as well as northern Herkimer County. In fact, where will the snow be for the next for today as well as the next several days? Still for tonight, the dark gray and light white areas still seeing generally 1 to 2 inches of additional accumulation. As we head into Sunday and Monday, that yellows and pinks are indicative of more heavier snowfall. Once again, we'll have more up-to-date snowfall maps as we head throughout the weekend. So for tonight, low of 28 degrees with lingering snow showers. A few flurries to start out tomorrow morning with some snow possible in the North Country throughout the day. Otherwise, mostly cloudy skies. Our 7-day forecast, snow is not out of the picture just yet. We're looking ahead towards more lake effect snow moving throughout our area by Monday. Dry weather moving in by Tuesday once again. And also looking ahead towards Thursday and Friday. I know it's an early call. We could see something similar to this, but thankfully with a lot less travel issues, the snowfall doesn't look to be as more compact along with that.
And we see this all the time after a nor'easter. It pulls all the moisture off the lakes, and then there comes lake effect. So we'll be ready for it. All right, thanks very much, Eric. Check this out. Santa made his way atop Smith Hill this evening. He's on board the Deerfield fire truck. Made his way around the area. Love that he stops by to wave to us every year. He's been coming here for as long as I can remember, and I've been here over 26 years now. Special thanks to the Deerfield Fire Department, as always, for driving by. And look at the decked out fire truck. Pretty cool. Coming up next, thousands of thank you for joining us. We are 3/4 of the way through this snow event. Still widespread snow impacting into the overnight hours. Plows were out getting the job done today. We'll have more on that in a minute. First, though, we want to check in with meteorologist Eric Gage on what we can expect the rest of this evening and into tomorrow morning. Eric, that is a snowman.
Yes, and I wanted to start out with some good news in terms of snowfall. Because of the wet characteristics of the snow, it's perfect for building snowmen. And we got a lot of really good submissions sent in, not only from our email, but also on the WKTV Facebook page. This first one we showed in at 5:30 earlier on, a 7-foot snowman. It's really cool. I like the buttons on that too as well. Another one, it looks like a taller one, not too entirely sure, but also still a pretty large snowman. This was sent in Boonville. And lastly, this guy making a snowman out in Marcy, still props to you. I could never build a snowman as good as that. So that's just awesome to see. Good job, everyone, on building those snowmen. And still, for the most part, we are still tracking this dense, wet snow moving throughout our area. Here's a live look at the Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 Doppler radar. We are not done with the snow just yet. Now, as the wind direction shifts from the south to the west, looking at more dry weather arriving by tomorrow morning. Still, the overnight hours, we're going to see occasional on and off snow showers for tonight. And then temperatures start to cool down, at least for the most part, into the upper 20s to low 30s. And after this, we are not done with snow yet again. We are talking about lake effect snow. There are lake effect snow watches in effect for some areas. I'll have details on that coming up. Back over to you.
All right, thank you, Eric. We continue to follow the collapsed building due to the heavy weight of the snow in Whitesboro. Tonight, we have new video and new information from the Whitesboro Fire Chief. The calls came in just after 4 o'clock for a collapsed building on Oriskany Boulevard in Whitesboro. It's the Bottle Drop Redemption Center. Now, the Whitesboro Fire Chief, George Maserati, tells me that no one was there at the time of the collapse. Thank goodness. The building is a total loss. Now, the road behind the building, Foster Street, is still closed. A contractor is scheduled to come in tomorrow and start the process of tearing down the entire structure. The city of Utica declared a snow emergency so plow crews could get the heavy wet snow off the road so you can get where you need to go safely. But what goes into the plan? Well, we checked in with Utica DPW Commissioner Dave Short, a veteran of many central New York winters, to find out. When the first word came through our team of meteorologists that a storm was coming this week, well, the Utica DPW immediately put their plans in motion.
We started preparing earlier in the week, actually, going through the plows, checking things out, making sure the salt spreaders work, making sure that the trucks even start still. We have a lot of older equipment, so we want to make sure everything's still up in par. We made contact with our partners, meaning our salt suppliers, the town of New Hartford, who provides us with some brine, so we go out and brine before the storm. So there's a lot to it, and then we just wait.
And then the snow came, started Thursday night, so Utica declared a snow emergency.
Every night by 10 o'clock, you need to be off the city streets, your vehicles. You need to park it somewhere else. You can park free at city lots, park in your neighbor's driveway, whatever you need to do, but get off the street. Otherwise, you could be possibly ticketed and or towed. So your vehicle is off the street so we can get through and plow.
The plows are big, and if the city can't get down the street, important to note, they just won't plow that street right away. You see, this was a snow event that had all hands on deck, so On Thursday night, all 47 people worked around the clock overnight. A short break in the afternoon into the early evening, and then it was back at it again Friday night. One thing that is important to note for any storm.
The guys out there, they're working long hours. Give them a break. There's signs in the back of those trucks that say stay back 50 feet. That's for your protection, your car's protection, so that it doesn't get belted with salt. So abide the rules, be careful on the roads, stay safe, and, you know, take it easy out there.
Now, this is the kind of snow that can cause injury. It's heavy, it's wet, it could hurt your back and your heart if you're not careful. So we checked in with the American Heart Association, and they sent us this information. Don't overstress your heart. The smaller the shovel, the safer you will be, because you're lifting smaller amounts. More times is better than lugging a few huge shovels full of snow. In fact, if you can, just push the snow, don't lift it. And eating a large meal can put an extra load on your heart, so don't do that before you go out and shovel. Also, look out for your elderly neighbors. 50 Forward, Mohawk Valley, and the United County Office for the Aging are still looking for volunteer snow shovelers. It's a great program for seniors who simply just cannot get out and shovel their walkways and entrances to their homes, especially after a heavy snowfall like this one. These are people who can't afford to pay someone either, so volunteers will be matched with older adults in their neighborhoods. Those that are interested in volunteering should contact 50 Forward Volunteer Resource Center at 315-235-2029. There were a lot of accidents on the roadways today, all over in our 3-county area, 4-county area for that matter, dozens. And this is when we want to show you a more serious crash. At around 1 o'clock this afternoon, a jackknife tractor trailer on the thruway. State Police sent us this picture. The crash happened between Verona and Westmoreland in the eastbound lane. Totally blocked off traffic. Drivers had to be forced off the highway at exit 33. Obviously, thruway back open tonight. New tonight, a source confirms with January 6th committee that they're considering.
From Central New York's most dependable weather team, here's meteorologist Eric Gage.
Good evening and welcome back. We're on the final stretch of this nor'easter impacting central New York with widespread snow. Here's a live look outside. Our Utica National camera overlooking Main Street in Cooperstown. Still could see some slick roadways on roads that still have are still seeing a general accumulation right now in those roads that have not been unplowed. But for lower elevations, still roads are looking somewhat better. However, taking a live look at a Yorkville Battery Storm Tracker 2 Doppler radar, the snow has picked up once again, this time for the final time as this system moves out towards the northeast. Taking a look at the bigger picture right here, you can see how this broad area of rotation, that's the center of low pressure, that will continue to move its way out towards the northeast, and this area right out towards Rochester, south here, out towards Binghamton, this is the final area of snow. This will push its way up to our area overnight, and by tomorrow morning, still can see a few lingering flurries, but for the most part, snowfall will be over and done with. Updated snowfall totals tonight from the New York State Mesonet. 10 inches in Old Forge, 11 inches in Woodgate, 13 inches checking in Springfield, and as well as 10 inches in Brookfield. The heavier accumulations were just south of the Mohawk Valley in those higher elevations. The Mohawk Valley, especially in Utica, Rome, as well as even out towards Camden, only saw 4 inches of snowfall. An area of warm air was trapped at the surface overnight last night that caused snow to fall as rain for the most part. That cut down on those totals, so overall totals for this event still expect the forecast to be on point, except for the lower end, especially in the lower elevations in the Mohawk Valley. Still could be seeing a general 1 to 2 inches of additional accumulation by tonight. So the bigger picture, this nor'easter is moving out to the east. We are still tracking another low pressure up towards the north, moving its way into our area by Saturday and Sunday. This will not affect most of us, but still could produce some lake effect snow, especially in the North Country and northern United County. So for tonight, still we're tracking additional snowfall moving its way out our area by early tomorrow morning. Still could see additional flurries, not warming up by too much by tomorrow as well. Temperatures only warming up into the mid-30s, but keep an eye on this disorganized band of lake effect snow. Not as strong, at least until by Sunday morning. See, Saturday night still relatively disorganized. Starts strengthening by Sunday morning and then continue to move its way up to northern United County as well as northern Herkimer County. This could produce some significant accumulation. We'll have at least an early snowfall forecast by the 9 a.m. show for tomorrow. But still, taking a look at our winter weather advisory overall outlook right now, still The winter weather warnings have covered the area, but this light green right here is a lake effect snow watch. This is for northern Oneida County as well as northern Herkimer County. Once again, we'll have more updates on this this weekend. So for tonight, low of 28 degrees, still lingering snow showers. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy with snow relatively in the north, so we can see additional flurries. Our 7-day forecast looking at dry weather for the most part tomorrow, aside from that lake effect snow band. That snow band moves its way south by Sunday and Monday, with temperatures hovering right on freezing in the low 30s.
All right, so just got to watch out for that lake effect as it comes in after the storm.
Yes.
All right, sounds good. Thanks, Eric. Well, check this out. Santa made his way atop Smith Hill this evening. He's on board the Deerfield fire truck here. Made his way around the area. Love that he always stops by to wave to us every year. He's been coming up here for as long as I can remember, and I've been here over 26 years now. Special thanks to the Deerfield Fire Department, as always, for driving by. Coming up next, thousands of